Okay, all of you are listening my voice clearly.
Yes, sir.
Hello, guys. Can you reply me that if you can listen my voice clearly, all of you?
Yes, sir. I listen clearly.
Okay. Hans can listen clearly. How about Galaxy S6? I don't know the names.
Yes, sir.
How about Halima? Can you listen? Your voice is not coming to us clearly. I don't know, but maybe you can listen or not, but I cannot listen you here clearly. Okay, so please, I confirm from you people, and I think most of the student has text me that they can listen me clearly. So we have to start our class properly. First of all, from my side to Assalamu alaikum to all of you. And the most important thing for whenever you are going to start any session, so introduction is very important. So my name is Ali Nawaz, and I have completed my master in English from Northern University in 2018. I have been teaching in Oxford English Language Academy, Noshera, since 2006. And today we are here to attend one of your demo class by request of Sir Yasser and Miss Halima. As for, first of all, we will go that why we are learning English language. Most of the people ask this question that why do you want to learn English? So there are many reasons to learn English. Mean that first of all, whenever you ask from somebody, so everybody know that it is international language. You know that it is spoken all over the world. It is spoken globally. If you go to any part of the world, so the people are speaking English. If you go to any other part of the world, so nobody can understand Urdu, nobody can understand Pashto, nobody can understand any other local languages. Most of the people try to understand English language, and most of the people try to speak in English language. So that's why learning English is very important for us. Second important reason that it is the language of social media. Actually, whenever you are mean that using social media, so for that English is very important. If you don't know English language, so you cannot use social media properly. So the most important it is social media or social language, we can say as well. Like we use it, we use internet, we use Facebook, Instagram, we use WhatsApp, etc. So we can chat with our friends and we can use it properly if you know English language. If you have difficulties in English language, so you will not be able to use properly. Still, the people are using. I will not say the people are not using and the people cannot use it. The people can use it, but the people cannot use it properly. So English language help us to use any kind of media properly. And it is also mean that the language of a science, if you see any research, any best research, so that is going to be published by English researchers, English speakers, English native speakers especially. So what, if you want to understand that, if you want to study that, if you want to improve yourself in that, so what for that you need to learn English language. If you don't know English, so you will not be understand to research of those people. So if you think about your English, science books, so all of them are written in English language. And as you told me, most of the researches are conducted in English language. So it is difficult for us to understand that. So it is the language of a science. If you are using any equipments which is used in a science lab, etc., so the use of them or the instruction of them is also written in English language. So if you don't know English, so you cannot use them properly. One thing is that it is also the language of education, especially in Pakistan. If you want to get good education, so I mean that most of our subjects are in English. Even of our own subject, like suppose Islamic studies, etc. So those are also in English. So if you don't know in English, so you will not be able to understand those subject properly, and you will not be able to convey your message to the other people properly. So for us, it is also very important to learn English language. There are many other reasons. If I go into great detail, so it will almost take an hour to talk about only that. Why do we learn English? There are many other reasons that we are learning English language, but we will come to the students. So why do the students want to learn English language? If you go to our school system, so in our schools, mean they also teach us English subjects, but that is only as a subject. That is only mean that like we can say literature. They are not teaching us spoken skills. So here we will teach you how to improve your speaking, how to communicate with other people, how to talk with other people. That is the most important thing for us here. So if, I will give you many examples. We will discuss it gradually. We will discuss it in detail with the slide sharing. But first of all, I discuss a few things generally and quickly. We are coming to the most important point that first of all, whenever we are going somewhere and we are learning a language, so most of the people ask the question that what is language? So we have to understand first of all that what is language. We will go for that first. Let me share my screen first, then we will go forward. Okay, so what is language? So I have written a few things about language. So language, it is the source of sharing thoughts and ideas. I think all of you can see the screen. So above the language, I have given also the meaning of language as well. So if somebody asks you that what is language, so it's better to give the answer in English because you are learning English language especially. So it is the source of sharing thoughts and ideas. Suppose if you don't have a language, so we will have some thoughts and ideas in our mind. We will not be able to share it with other people. If you want to share your thoughts and ideas, so for that we need some medium, and that medium is actually a language. If you don't have a language, so we will not be able to share our thoughts and ideas with other people. Our thoughts and ideas will remain always and forever with ourselves, in our brain, in our mind. And other people, if they don't have a language, so their thoughts and ideas will always remain with them. So what if you want to share our ideas? So what for that we need a language. If I don't have any language, so I will not be able to share my thoughts and ideas. For example, the example of a language is like a bridge from mind to mind. Like suppose I give most of the example here. If there is a river and the people are living from both sides of the river. So how will they connect to each other? So they will connect by the help of a medium. If there is bridge, so they will be connected to each other by the help of a bridge. If there is no bridge, so they will not be able to connect to each other. Then will be another source, like suppose there is a system of boats or ships. So the people of both sides of the river can be connected to each other by the help of ships or by the help of boats. If these bridges were not there, so the people will not be able to connect to each other. So same is the case with the language. Like if I want to be connected with other person or the other people want to be connected with me, if we want to be connected to each other, so how we will be connected to each other? So we can be connected to each other by the help of a language. Language is the source actually, by the help of which we can share our thoughts and ideas. So language is the medium actually. Language is the source by which we can share our thoughts and ideas. Then actually English language has been divided into 4 skills. There are 4 skills of English language, and then we have the method of them, that how to learn them. First of all, we have given you that there is a listening, speaking, reading, and writing. First of all, we will talk about, I usually give example to my students about the practical things. Like if we think about the children. So I will tell you about the method of learning a language. So if you think about the children, so how a child can learn a language. First of all, if you see the babies, when the baby is born, so what they are unable to speak, but they can listen the people carefully. Okay, so the student can listen sorry, the children I'm talking about, when the newly baby born, so what happens? He is unable to talk and he cannot talk. But it doesn't mean that he cannot listen. The first important thing for the children, for the newly baby born, is listening. He starts listening. And we also have a lesson that scientifically, science has proved that the children can listen. The listening power of the children is more better than the younger people or the elder people. So what here, they can listen each and everything. So in the start, they start listening. They can listen each and everything, and they are trying. They are storing those things actually. After storing, mean that they're listening for some time, like 2 to 3 months. After that, they start speaking. What kind of speaking? They cannot speak properly. They speak like, suppose we can say here in Pashto we say "tata pata," mean that they start. They are speaking broken Pashto, and we cannot understand them. We also says that the language of the children can be understood only by their parents, not especially by a mother, not by anybody else. Why? Because their language is not proper one. But then they're speaking those broken Pashto or broken Urdu or any native language. They speak it broken, and gradually mean the improvement come into it. And one day come and they become a very strong English speaker or any other language speaker. Like suppose if I'm Pathan, I'm Pashtun, so I have learned Pashto properly. If you think about the other native speakers, so they learn their language properly, and even when they grow up, so we cannot stop them even. They can communicate very fluently in their language. So what? First of all, they do listening. The most important thing for them is listening. The second important thing for them is speaking. We'll talk in listening, about listening in great detail. You know that in English we have an expression: the best speaker is the best speaker is going to be the best listener. If they cannot listen the best, they cannot speak the best. So if you want to speak the best, so for that you need to improve your listening power. As I told you, the children, what do the children do? So the children can listen it, as you told you. And there are two kind of people when they grow up. One are those people who can speak, and one are those people who are unable to speak. We call them dumb people. So why the dumb people cannot speak? There is reason behind it. What is the reason behind it? There is a natural phenomena. The people who are dumb, so definitely they are going to be deaf also. जो लोग मतलब गूंगे होते हैं वो definitely बेरे भी होंगे. क्यों? Mean the reason behind it that they are actually, we say that wrong. Actually, they are not dumb. Actually, they are deaf. They cannot listen, so they cannot speak. So the most important thing for the student is listening. You have to focus on your listening as well. First, if you start listening properly, if you can listen properly, so then you will be able to speak properly. So what, as you told you, as I give the example of a baby, what do the baby do? The baby start listening and they start. Mean that if you talk to the babies, so they are listening very carefully to you. Understand? So gradually mean that they are storing those words, and then mean that they are trying to use those words, and then they are using it, mean that incorrectly, but the day come that then they speak very fluently and they learn the proper use of those words. So for the English language students, the example of them in the start is like a newly born babies. What in the start, maybe if I'm speaking to you in English, so maybe you cannot listen even what I'm saying, what I'm talking about. Maybe you cannot understand it because maybe you don't have the power of listening. So what here, then gradually your listening will improve. And after that, then if I speak after a few days, like it do happen in the first week, when we talk, when we communicate to the student, so they said it is very, they said it is very difficult. We cannot understand what you are saying, what you are talking about. Why? Because they are not habitual of listening English language. So what, for the first day, for the second day, for a third day, for a fourth day, almost a week, maybe you will have difficulties in listening, but gradually your listening will be improved. So second important, what can you do for the listening? So for the list, if you want to improve your listening power, so what you will do, first of all, the most important thing that you have to listen your English language teacher properly, that what he's talking about, what he's saying, what he's communicating. So if you listen him daily, so your listening will be improved gradually. Then after that, you have some homework for that. If you go home, you have, nowadays we have internet facilities. So mean that you can watch some English videos. Like we have short clips of videos, like there are many motivational speakers we can see nowadays on internet. So we have to download their videos and we have to listen them. Maybe you cannot understand them, that what they're talking about. But what you have to understand, maybe you cannot understand, but maybe you could listen them. Like I will give the example that how you cannot understand and how can you listen. Like if you listen to the, if you look at, if you judge you around, so what mean that there are many birds, they're chittering. We can listen their chittering and their chirping, but what we cannot understand what they mean. So maybe you are listening the English videos and you will listen them. Your listening is going to be okay, but you will not be able to understand them because you don't know the meaning of some wording. So understanding is not the task of a minute or two or a day or two or a week or two. It takes a long time. It takes almost 2 to 3 months. After 2 to 3 months, your understanding will start. But it means that first of all, you will learn the meaning of those words. So listening means that you have to listen. Like suppose if you were watching a video, in the video they say they use the word like anti-disestablishmentarianism. So I listen the anti-disestablishmentarianism, but I don't know the meaning of that word. So I will not understand what they mean, but I improve my listening. Likewise, they use the word of good or intelligent. So I can listen the word of good and intelligent, but maybe I don't know the meaning of good and intelligent. So maybe I will not understand the meaning. So what here, understanding of a meaning and listening are two different things. So maybe you can listen the word, understand, maybe you can listen the word from the video, but maybe you cannot understand the meaning. So you should not worry about that. In the start, maybe you will not understand the meaning. But in the start, you have to only try to focus that what they are saying, what are the wording, what words are used. So that is very important for the listening. So as I told you, there are many motivational speakers. We can listen their videos. For example, there is a great motivational speaker. His name is Prince EA. So you can listen his videos. There is another motivational speaker who is Indian. His name is Jay Shetty. He speaks English very fluently and very nicely. You can listen his videos. There is also another motivational speaker who is foreigner Pakistani motivational speaker. Her name is Muniba Mazari. You can also listen her short clips. That is very good for us. Except that we also mean that watch Indian movies, Urdu movies and Pashto movies or dramas, etc. For what? For enjoyment, for entertainment. So what here, except that, without that, we should watch English movies, dramas, cartoons, etc., which will help us in improving our listening as well, which will also help us to enjoy it. So we can get two benefits from that. If you watch English news, English cartoons, English dramas. So what here, it will help us in our listening and also we will enjoy it. Also, there are some, without watching the dramas, cartoons and movies, etc., there are a kind of talk shows on English channels like CNN, like Al Jazeera, likewise Voice of America. There are many other channels of English, so you can watch the news on that as well, which will also help improving your listening. And there are also talk shows going on, like suppose we have some other talk shows which is going on our local channels, like ARY, like Geo, like Dunia, like Bol. So some politicians are coming, they are talking to each other, they are giving to each other. So that is actually in Urdu. Same kind of talk shows are available on English channels, like Voice of America, Al Jazeera, many other channels are there, and their talk shows are going on. We can also watch their talk shows and we can also improve our listening skill by the help of that. So the basic thing is listening. The most you listen, the most you will be able to speak in English. We also, as I told you in the start, that the best listener is going to be the best speaker of English. So the way you improve your listening, the way you will be able to speak. Also, listening can help in your speaking. It improves your vocabulary as well. If you are listening English videos, they use some word, you don't know the meaning, you pick up the word, you write it for yourself, you check it in the dictionary, you learn the meaning, and then you can use it in your speaking properly. So what it also enhances, it also improves our vocabulary skill as well. So what listening is the most important thing. Listening is the basic thing for us. Second important thing for us is speaking. Speaking, some of the people worry about speaking. They're afraid, they're scared about speaking. They say that if I speak and I will speak wrongly and the people will laugh at me, the people will make fun of me. No problem about that. There are two types of things in Pashto, in Urdu, we say one is sharam, one is haya. Haya is very nice thing. We call it modesty. But sharam, shame is not good thing. Don't feel shame. Just speak. Whatever come into your mouth, just speak it out. Maybe no problem. Speak it broken, speak it wrongly. As you told you, how do the children speak? The children start speaking broken. They use they cannot speak the word properly. Like as you told you, they call papa very wrongly. Like they cannot say like daddy, they say wrongly. Like mama, they say wrongly. Like suppose they demand like in our Pashto speaking, if they want a bread, so what they say, if they want the food, so they say nani in Pashto. So what is nani? Nani is not a proper word, but they're speaking it out. Likewise, if they need a milk, so what they say give me dudu, etc. Or so what here? What is dudu? There is no proper word of dudu in Urdu or in Pashto. But they says that give me. What here? They're demanding, but they are speaking brokenly. But they are speaking it out because they don't have any shame. The children are actually shameless. They don't have this quality in themselves that they have to feel shame. So according to me, this is a good thing in them. And what happened then gradually? They're speaking every word wrongly. They're speaking every word incorrectly. And gradually it is improving. And the day come, then they speak very fluent. They like, suppose, think about yourself. You are the example. You are the biggest example of that. Think about yourself. When you were born, so how were you? Ask from your parents today when you go from this lecture. That when you born, so did you start speaking directly? No. First, everybody, every member of the family come to you. They talk to you. They communicate to you. And you were listening there, but you were unable to respond. And you were unable to communicate with them. Then what happened gradually? Then you, after some time, after 2-3 months, when the family members come, they talk to you. So what happened then? Then you can understand them. When they talk to you politely, they talk to you with a smiling face. So what do you respond smilingly? With a smiling face, you laugh, you make fun. But when they angry on you, so you start crying. The children start crying. Notice the babies at your home. Also mean that when we talk to them, so what do they do? First in the start, they do not talk, they do not communicate, but they can listen. It doesn't mean they cannot listen. They can listen very properly. After some time, after 2-3 months, when we communicate with them, so they give us response. When we do some kind of mimicry to them, so they laugh, they smile. But when we get angry on them, so they start crying because their understanding start after 2-3 months. They understand the meaning of some of the wording, that this is the gestures of anger and this is the gestures of, that frankness. So they can understand the gestures, even they can understand the wording, they can understand the, that impression on your face. So what they give you response. In the start, they can only listen. After that, they start speaking, but not proper speaking, broken speaking. And that broken speaking can improve. And one day they become a very great speaker. So this is the biggest example of us. Then after that, we send the children to school. In the school, the teacher start their reading, start with them how to read. Like suppose they are starting first of all from alif, ba, ta, sa. The teachers are giving them books. They are teaching them that this is the word and this can be pronounced like alif. This is the letter which can be pronounced like ba. This is the letter which can be pronounced like tha and sa, etc. Like also in English, they teach them that this is the letter which can be pronounced like A. This is the letter which can be pronounced like B. This is the letter which can be pronounced like C. So the children start learning reading then. And after reading, then they start their writing exercise as well, that the teachers are writing to them. They are writing like alif and they learn the symbol, and then they give them writing practice for their home as well. So it means God has gifted us with these 4 skills, and naturally it is like listening first, speaking second, reading then, and writing then. I will tell you a very important fact about our school system, about our local system. Like first of all, whenever we admit our children and they are learning language, so what do? We send them to school. In the school, they directly start them how to read and how to write. They do not improve their listening power and they do not improve their speaking power. That is the reason that after completing matric, after completing FSC, after completing graduation, after completing master, we don't know how to speak English and we don't know how to listen English. So what here? Because we do not teach them listening, how to listen, and we do not teach them how to speak. That is the problem with us. So, I mean, in the school, they first start them reading and then the writing. Here in our English language course, we will not touch the natural phenomena. We will not scramble the natural phenomena. Nature tell us, God tell us that first of all, I born you with the listening quality. Second, I give you the speaking quality. Third, I give you the reading quality. And fourth, I give you the writing quality. But our school system, they have destroyed. First, they read us, then they're writing us. And when we complete the metric graduation master, then we come to the listening and speaking side. Then we join English language academies and we want to improve our listening and speaking power. So that's why in our reading and writing, there is also a fault. So if we go step by step, if we go first for the listening, second for the speaking, third for the reading, fourth for the writing. So this is the proper stages. So we will not have any problem in English language. So these are 4 skills which I talk about. How now I also told you that how to learn them, how to improve them. As you told you, listening you can improve by listening a lot, by listening English videos, and speaking you can improve by speaking a lot, by talking, by communicating. Don't worry about that I'm speaking wrong English, I'm speaking incorrect English. Just speak it out, and gradually the correction will come in it. Like you can see that I'm speaking, so I have learned the speaking mean that just by speaking it out. In the start, I was also speaking very wrong English. Still, I remember my first day in English language class when I was a student. So most of my friends were making fun of me. They said that what kind of speaking is he doing? How he is communicating? How is he talking? His English tense is not correct. His vocabulary is incorrect. His pronunciation is incorrect. But I didn't feel any shame, and I was just speaking it out. And today I'm teaching, and I have completed my 14 years of teaching. So what here mean, I was also same like you. I have also studied in the same government school, but I mean that I didn't learn anything. But when I joined English Language Academy, so I improved myself. And because the same things were taught by our teachers to us, and I implemented it myself, and I try to do that. So today I'm here. Same is the case with the reading and writing as well. Now we are coming to them. There are methods of them, how to learn them, how to the methods. So there are listening and speaking and reading and writing. There are 2 different methods. One is called actually acquisition. Listening. Let me inform you about one thing, all of the students, that after 10 minutes, this meeting session will be end, because Zoom meeting is only continue for 40 minutes. So after 10 minutes, it will be finished. So you can rejoin after 10 minutes. Okay, if the meeting is end, so you can rejoin that. I will start the meeting again after 10 minutes because the meeting is only for 40 minutes. So what here, there are listening and speaking has one method, and reading and writing has another method. One is called acquisition, and one is called learning. What is the difference between learning and acquisition? You can see the acquisition and under method acquire first. Acquisition actually means the natural way of learning something. The natural way, learn something unintentionally. This is called also informal learning. Actually, the things which you learn, for which you do not go to school, for which you do not study the book, for which you do not sit in front of the teacher, you learn from the environment. That is actually called acquisition. That is actually called the informal learning. So mean that listening and speaking is actually we learn informally. We do not learn it actually. We acquire it. We acquire it naturally. Like suppose if you think about your own native language, so you can speak your native language and you can listen your native language very properly. You don't have any difficulties in that. How? Because there is 24-hour environment for you people, and you never think about this, that I have come to this world for learning my own native language. Firstly, I'm a Pashto speaker, so I have never thought about that I have come to this world for learning Pashto, and unintentionally I have learned Pashto. And my mother didn't give me the book of Pashto that, oh, my son, take this book and you will learn Pashto from this book. No, sorry. I have learned unintentionally. I have been surviving in this environment and I have learned it. Mean I also learn speaking. I can speak Pashto, but I didn't think about it that I have come to this world and I will learn Pashto and I will communicate. Unintentionally, I have learned it. And for English language, so I went to the academy. I take admission in the academy. I sit in front of the teacher. The teacher teach me and I have learned it. So reading and writing, I have learned, and listening and speaking, I have acquired. Same is the case with you people as well. Like I will ask a very good question from you. Suppose if you think about your native language, like we talk about Pashto. So if you think about yourself, you can speak and listen Pashto very properly. But if somebody tell you that please write Pashto and read this Pashto, so we cannot do that. Why? The student, they can do who has studied it in school, but the student who didn't study Pashto inside the school, so they cannot read and write. Why? Because they didn't learn it, but they only acquire it. They did the acquisition of that, but they didn't do the learning of that. So mean that same as the case with English. English you can read and write if somebody asks you, but if somebody told you that please speak it out and read it out, so we are not as good in the read. We are good in reading and writing, but if somebody say read, listen it, and if somebody says speak it, so in listening and speaking we are a little weak. Why? Because we didn't get the environment. We didn't learn it from the environment. So what here for the listening and speaking we need an environment, and for the reading and writing we do not need environment. For that we need a teacher and books, etc. to practice. So what here, if you want to listen, improve your listening, if you want to improve your speaking, so what here, you will listen from the other and then you will respond to them. You will listen from the other, you will respond to them. You will listen from the videos, you will use it in your speaking. You will listen it from the audios, you will practice it with your friends. So what here, listening and speaking is very important. For what? For the speaking skill, for the conversation, for the communication. But for the reading and writing, you need a proper teacher, you need a proper book, you need a proper area where to sit and learn from the teacher. So what here, that's why this is the basic difference between acquire and learn. Acquisition can be done through the environment, by the help of environment, and naturally we can learn it. But for the learning, we do not need environment. We need to sit intentionally and we need to listen to the teacher properly so we can improve that. Listen, second point, receptive and productive. Actually, there are 4 organs. For the listening, we are using our ears. For the speaking, we are using our tongue and mouth. For the reading, we are using our eyes. And for the writing, we are using our hands. And so, mean that the 4 organs, we are called receptive, 2 of them, and 2 of them are productive. Like listening and ears and eyes, these are receptive skill. By the help of these 2 organs, we can receive. Mean listening and reading are receptive skill actually. By the help of that, we can receive. These are called input devices of us. Like suppose if somebody communicate to us, so we will listen it. We will take the input of it. And if we listen it, so then we can produce it by the help of our mouth. So that is actually our output. You already know about computer, input and output are there. If we sit in front of the computer system and we are not giving output, so until we do not give the input, so it will not produce output. So first of all, you need to give input to it, and then you will be able to produce output. So what here, first of all, you will listen a lot. In the start, you will do a lot of listening as a unit. They are listening for almost 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. After 2-3 months, they are listening it and they are storing it. Listening it, storing it, listening it, storing it. Input is given to them and they're storing. After some time, then they start producing it. Production is started, and after that, they start speaking. Broken, but then they are improving gradually. So what here, listening is actually receptive, and reading is also actually we are also read and then we inhale it, we understand it by the help of our mind. So what here, it is also mean that receptive. So listening and reading are receptive. Speaking and writing are actually productive. By the help of speaking, we can communicate, we can talk to the people, and by the help of writing, we can also convey our message to the people. So these 2 are productive skills. So I talk about language, I talk about 4 skills of English language. Then we will move on forward that how to improve our these 4 skills. For the listening, what we need, for the listening, for speaking, for reading and writing, I explained it in a great detail that how can you improve it. Then some of the students think that we can improve the language by the help of a grammar. So we will go to the grammar. Grammar, simple definition I have written, the rules and regulation of a language to write and speak correctly. So what, if you want to improve your language, correct your language, like suppose if you told you that you can learn the language, you can learn speaking, you can learn writing, you can learn speaking, but maybe there is some fault, so you can correct it, you can learn it properly, you can learn it correctly by the help of grammar. So that's why the grammar, the rules and regulation of a language to write and speak correctly. If you want to speak correctly, if you want to write correctly, So for speaking correctly, for writing correctly, we need to understand grammar. We need to learn grammar. So then grammar has been divided into two parts. The first one is parts of speech. The second one is tenses. So the classification of words according to their function is known as parts of speech. First of all, we'll go for the parts of speech. Parts of speech is actually the base of a language. If you don't know parts of speech, so you cannot understand the tenses. So very important for us to know about parts of speech first. So that's why I will go for the definition of parts of speech. The classification of words according to their function is known as parts of speech. Understand the meaning of parts of speech. The classification of words. Classification mean actually, classification has been taken from class. Class mean actually group. Class mean actually, classification actually mean that division actually. Division of word, the class of word, the class of word. In English language, we have million and billion of words. So those billion and billion words has been grouped. They have been classed. They have been classified. So like suppose it is the also naturally that we have divided everything in the group, and why we have classed them, why we have grouped them, to understand it clearly. For example, I will give general example. Look at the people of all the world. They have been divided into groups. First of all, they have been divided into different countries. Like suppose we say Indian. So Indian has specific area and specific people are living there. Like we have Pakistan. So Pakistan is a specific area and the people are living there. Like suppose we have Afghanistan. So in Afghanistan, we have selected and hired a specific area and some specific kind of people are living there. So you know that we have made them class, because if this lines were not there, if these boundaries were not there, so the people will living like with hustle and bustle. There will be no rules and regulation. The people will, their life will be very difficult. So what here we have divided them in different areas, different countries. So it is like actually Afghan people are a kind of class. Pakistanis are a kind of class. Like we talk about Indians, that is a kind of class, a kind of group.